Thank you for coming to tonight's screening of My Friends, the Comedians. Please ensure that you have your cell phone silenced. Enjoy the show.
Hello, fellow joke enthusiasts, comedy connoisseurs, and champions of chuckle. Welcome back to the show. If you're new here, my name is Jacob Marscola, and this is My Friends, the Comedians, a podcast where I sit down with a friend and discuss the mysterious, delirious, and unserious realm of comedy. Sitting across from me is a friend of mine who just so happens to be a comedian, a alumnus of Ridiculum back on the show, someone that I very much so enjoyed doing improv comedy with in the short time that I got to perform with her. But I'm super excited. A master of characters, a master of voices, a master of performance. Please welcome Giana Abbas.
Wow. I was curious as to what that was going to sound like. The intro.
Like the intro?
The intro.
Like in person, the intro?
Yeah.
Was it good? Did I do good?
You did, yeah.
Was it okay?
I'd rate it 10.
Was my performance on par?
Your performance was fine.
All
Your
right.
performance was good.
Well, just know that I'll be
appreciate it.
sitting back here judging your performance for the rest of the episode.
Thank you. That's really reassuring, Jacob. I really appreciate
Thanks
that.
for coming onto my show.
I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so excited. I think, I've said this so many times. I feel like I'm a broken record on the show at this point, but it's also because I'm in every episode. I feel like maybe if I was a listener, I'd be like, this would be more interesting if he wasn't in every episode. But because I say a lot of things over and over again, I always get excited when I get to talk to an alumni, especially you. For a bunch of particular reasons, and I mentioned it in your intro of like, I'm excited to talk about the short pocket of time that I got to know you as a comedic performer and how I don't like that it was such a short time.
Oh.
how I wish you had joined earlier, or
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't want to pick at like fears or how you feel about things, but we'll talk about that or whatever. But specifically that because I've talked to Mr. who started Ridiculum, who has been doing comedy since Ridiculum started. I've talked to Noel and Kevin who are like trying to go off and do that professionally. I'm excited to talk to someone who like was in Ridiculum for a short time, but exemplified, I feel, more like aptitude in improv than some people who have like done it all 4 years.
I don't know if that's true.
It's absolutely true. I am not an expert, but I do think I have a perspective that would warrant me to say like it would have been a fucking show if you had been in Ridiculum all 4 years.
Yeah.
And I feel that way truly. I'm curious. We'll get into this actually, but when you joined Ridiculum, how long did it take until you were like, oh man, I kind of wish I had, or did you feel that way in any way?
Like wishing that I had joined earlier?
Wishing you had joined earlier, or like unsure if, like, I'm curious, yeah.
I mean, I definitely,
I hate to start off the show with like, man, you should regret a lot of things, but it's the way that I felt about this episode going in, because I was like, every time I think about your performance or your time in Ridiculum, it's always, oh, this is so good that I can only like tack on if only. Like that is, yeah.
It's funny. This is something I have complicated feelings about this, and I feel like you're pretty on point for a lot of it. Like, I think that I joined Ridiculum at probably the perfect time
For
in
you?
like, yeah, for me
Okay.
in my like college
Makes sense.
journey and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, I don't think I would have joined it any sooner. And I don't think if I had joined it any sooner, I don't know if it would have
Been better or
worked
worse.
as well
Yeah,
for
I mean,
me.
definitely. When you join stuff, it's like, this works for what I did. And if
Right.
you like that, you like that. But at the same time,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, man. Like, did you have that kind of like tug and pull or whatever?
Yeah, even though I feel like I kind of came into it at just the right time. Well, I guess I kind of came into it like a couple of weeks late. But that's another story. That's a whole nother story to
And a
unpack.
story that we'll get into.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll touch on that later. But even though I feel like I did join at the right time, I do have like such a strong feeling like, oh my God, like the entire time I was in the club, I was like, I wish I had more time here because like literally the semester after I joined, I like fucked off to Europe.
Yeah.
So I
Exactly. Yeah.
that was upsetting. And like there was so much that I wish I would have got. Like I wish I could have been in the club with like everyone for a longer amount of time. I wish I could have done improv for a longer amount of time.
But you still get to do it at least annually.
That's true.
Do you? I'm jumping ahead of my own format, but it's such a loose format. I mean, do you enjoy like? This is a dumb question, but I guess specifically, I mean, what you're about to? The next one is going to be your third, or no,
My
your
second.
second.
This was
because
my first alumni show.
I was going to say
yeah.
we started it when you were still a senior here. Yeah. So am I correct? We started it. You were a senior, and we started.
Yes, I was a senior for the first.
You were a
alumni
senior
show.
for the first alumni show.
So the third show that I've been sentient for,
Mhm.
but the second show that
second show you've been a performer
it will be the
for.
second show that I've performed. In.
Yeah, I was especially excited for the alumni show this year because it was the first time we got to see like because the first alumni cast was like, okay, well, this is also the first time the show's ever happened, but then we had like new cast for the alumni group, which was like you and Julia, which was super fun to have. Again, like I said, I'm jumping ahead of my own format, and we're going to talk about this absolutely. But I just wanted to say I've been eager to get this episode going, and so I hope you are as well.
Oh, I am so eager to
So
be
eager.
here. I've been like listening to
Oh, yay.
most of the episodes.
Who's been the best guest? I mean, besides me, I mean, always there, so that's the best part. But
So in my opinion, the best guest so far has definitely like leagues 100% been Redacted.
Redacted.
I think Redacted did a great job talking about their experience with Redacted. Always a great time.
Always a
listening
good time.
to that story. One
And
of
you
my
know what? I
favorites.
might have to edit something out. I might have edit some of that out just, because of opinions. So the name that you definitely
right.
said, I might have to like cut. I'll probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to
Could
make
you
anyone
just-
feel like favoritism.
For me, actually, could you just say redacted right now? That might be good for the edit.
Redacted.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to use that a
Okay.
lot. Yeah, but we'll move on. It's fine.
Okay.
Before we get into the meat of the matter, something very important to this show that we do at the very beginning. Is this stressful for you?
Yes.
We are going to be talking about if your personality, Giana Abbas, was a coffee table book. A book on a coffee table, whether it's your interest, your personality, your overall being, what would that be? Do you have any inkling of like where to start? Because I can tell you're thinking about it.
Yeah, no, I've thought about this,
You've
Jacob.
thought about it, yeah?
I've like I said, I've listened to the podcast. I knew this was coming. Every time I listen to the podcast and this question comes up, I'm like, wow, that was a really great answer. And then I stress myself out because
About
I'm
if
like,
it's gonna be good.
I would not have a good answer for this.
Mhm.
And now I'm actually here. And I still don't have
This is it.
a good, this is it.
This is like what it felt like when I was like, well, I know my exam's on Friday. I have until Friday, and then it's Friday.
And then it's literally Friday,
literally Friday.
right now. We are recording this.
It is on Friday.
on a Friday.
It is on a
not a joke.
Not a
this
joke.
isn't even a joke.
Welcome to your exam. This is my friends, the comedians.
Oh my god.
You're
Oh
the
my
only
God.
one here.
I'm the only one in the exam,
Mhm.
and I didn't study.
I know that might sound terrifying to some people. That sounds like my perfect heaven of taking it. I would love the idea of I'm in a room alone and maybe the professor's also there.
And they're just like making eye contact with you the entire time.
They can if they want. I'm not looking at them.
That's fair.
Unless they're still making eye contact with me as I'm looking at the test. That's impressive, I feel like, if they did that.
They've like kind of like contorted themselves, so
Mhm.
they're in front between you and the paper.
And the paper, yeah.
and they're just staring.
My perfect exam, I think, environment. I can talk about this in jest because I'm done with exams. I'm done taking college.
Congratulations.
It's so exciting.
Congratulations on being old.
I'm so old. It's weird because I'm old, but I haven't got the paper that says I'm officially old yet. So I haven't got my diploma that's like you're old. So I'm in
Yeah.
this weird, vague state.
Like an in-between stage.
Yeah.
Like a midlife stage.
A midlife
at this
stage.
point,
Yeah.
I
This is
suppose.
middle of my life.
It's about time for you to like buy a Ferrari.
I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what was outside.
That's what was that was mine.
Okay.
That was mine. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, Gianna, we've stalled long enough for you.
I thought you'd forget about it.
Not at all.
The thing about this question,
Mhm.
right, is
It's cemented in history.
it is cemented in history. That's not what I was going to say, but thank
I've
you for
added
giving me
another fear.
another fear on top of my already existing ones. But so I contain multitudes.
You do.
Jacob Marscola.
Wow. Is that from Exodus or?
That's from, I think, an online meme that I saw once. but I don't. It's so hard. I feel like for me to like distill the entirety of my being and vibe and the way that I come across to people in like just one book. And I feel like for some other people who have come on this podcast, like everyone else who's done this, I've been like, wow, that is such a good book for you to choose because like that represents your interests really well, or that represents like who you are as a person really well. I don't know.
You don't know who you are.
I don't know who I am.
Well,
Jacob.
you know what? I think you're we're gonna get an answer out of you, but I'm gonna keep talking.
Okay.
You're pointing to something about the question. I do feel like every time I've asked this question, especially to the people I've talked to, because you know the people I've interviewed on the show, at least the ones that have been released so far, all of these people that I've talked to, I'm friends with, that are comedians, they're insanely like multifaceted, doing different things, not multiple personalities.
Well, that's a different thing.
Well, that's a different thing. Multiple factors of their personality, like you've just explained, like yourself. There's a bunch of different things that make you. Asking this question is telling someone to like try to bottle their personality into one particular part, which is a little unfair. But if you try to think about it as less of, maybe I'll start rephrasing the question, but I think it's sort of instead of your personality, if you would like a book on there to be like, oh, that's Giana's book, instead of, oh, that book is Giana, what book would you like on that stack? That might be a better way to phrase it, because it does seem, you know what, I've answered this question, but no one's really asked me this question. And so I think it's been easy for me to ask the question, to be like, hey, all of you, let's put that into one book, as opposed to, I think Julia's episode isn't out, but she gave me like 4 to 5 different books, because she was like, well, I'm reading this one, but this one's about me, but actually this one's about kind of what I used to be into. Like, so this is my attempt to make you feel more comfortable with answering the question.
Oh, thank you.
Has it worked?
No.
No.
It's okay. I still think, like,
You reading any books lately?
I read so many books all the time.
Mm-hmm. One of them.
One of them is, so I'm on the last Game of Thrones book.
Wow.
This isn't going to be my coffee table book.
Okay, you know what? We're picking and
I
choosing.
feel like I should clarify. I do have my coffee table book answer.
Oh, you've been
already.
holding out. You're just really.
Yeah. You keep interrupting me. Well, you're not interrupting, but
I'm trying to make you feel better, and you're like, this guy doesn't even know that I've got.
God, like, get to the point already.
Come on.
Jeez.
You know what? This could be the whole episode, and I'm okay with it, as long as we get an answer.
We're not going to get to the coffee table book until, like, the very end.
The very end,
The
absolutely.
very end of the episode.
If you hold that in, I'm expecting to get it by the end.
That would, you will, I don't know, you will get it. Again, I do have the answer.
Okay. Exciting.
And you're going to get it.
I don't know if I've ever had a guest try to, like, play what am I trying to say here? Play status on the show. You're trying to hold like power against me.
I'm playing keep away.
My
with my
show
answer.
can't end until we have this book, and you hold the ability to end the show right
I'm
now.
actually holding you captive right now.
You kind of are. Yeah. Anyway, you were going to say something before I interrupted you.
Yeah, well, I forget what I was going to say.
Well, I could sit here all day.
Oh, that's good.
This is I love it. I need you to know that this is incredibly different from every interview I've had so far, and that's a good thing, and I love it. It's so good.
We're having a lovely time.
It's kind of up to you. If you want to wait to reveal it at the end, you can. But also, you were talking about the last Lord of the Rings book. How's that going?
I was talking about the last Game of Thrones book, actually.
I said Lord of the Rings.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. They're like pretty much the same. Both of them take place in fantasy worlds.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah. I actually haven't read Lord of the Ring. There's dragons. There is dragons.
There's dragons.
The guy who was Sherlock played the dragon in the Hobbit movie, so
Which
I know
is
that
insane.
there's a dragon.
I watched Desolation to Smog for the first time, and then I looked up the cast, and I was like, no way. And then I saw that fuck-ass video
like the behind the
of
scenes
him
one.
being a dragon.
He's
crawling
wild.
on all fours.
He's like...
It's so unhinged and crazy. It's the weirdest I've seen Benedict Cumberbatch be, and that's coming from someone named Benedict Cumberbatch.
His name is literally Benedict Cumberbatch.
And he's crawling on the floor. It's the weirdest and most amazing.
He's like hissing.
Yeah,
he like hisses in it.
That's the most I've seen him get into a character, and he's played some like great characters.
He really has.
Yeah.
It's a treat to
It's a
watch,
treat.
truly.
So the last Game of Thrones
Last
book.
Game of Thrones book. I mean, okay, the last Game of Thrones book that's been published.
Is it a weird like?
Yeah, it was. There's still 1 to 2 more coming out allegedly, but it's been like, I don't know, 12 years at this point, and George R.R. Martin is too busy like writing the Dark Souls games to actually write his own books. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
We don't need to crack open that egg just.
We won't crack
just
open
now.
the egg just now.
We won't. You know,
We won't crack
the
open.
classic saying.
We don't need to crack open that egg now. We can make omelets later. It's 9
We'll
p.m.
crack that egg open when we get to it.
Are we gonna crack open your coffee table book?
We can
later?
crack open my coffee table book
now.
if you want. Do you want me to give you the answer right now?
It is up to you because this is a very exciting time where I don't know if I've felt like I have a piece of my show that I'm not in control of yet, but it's kind of exciting. So it's up to you. You have the power to reveal it right now.
That's a bad decision to make because I'm like hella indecisive. So
we're gonna flip a coin, and it's
Ooh,
gonna
that's a
decide if
good
you
one.
reveal it to me now or at the very end.
okay, I pick heads.
All right. I didn't type in coin. I typed in Keen.
Oh my God, Kevin!
Yeah, Kevin Keen with a C. Flip coin. You said what?
I said heads. I pick heads.
It landed on tails. What is that?
Okay, what does that mean?
I don't know. We didn't decide.
We didn't clarify.
So that means that I get to decide?
Oh yeah, perfect.
I think that's what it
That's
means.
actually exactly what I wanted.
I'd like to hear it now.
Okay.
Tell me.
I'll tell you. So I feel like actually, yeah, this is better because
This is better.
it's like not a good answer. So it better that we get it over with instead of making us wait
It's
until the
gonna
end of
be
the
great.
episode.
It's going to be great.
Like I said, thought about this for quite a while, and for a really long time, I had an answer, and I had this idea that I would say that my coffee table book is like, do you know that artist MC Escher?
Yeah.
He's like the guy who does like all of those pictures that it's like the staircase is going up, but then it's going into another. It's like an optical illusion.
I played
where it's
a-
like an impossible cube. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
there's like mind puzzle games that exist that are basically based off of his whole design, where it's like you try to.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's very crazy and interesting. But yeah, I'm aware of MC Escher. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So my original answer was gonna be just like, and this is not a book that exists.
It can be a fake book.
I know it can be a fake book.
You've
I've listened to the
listened.
podcast.
You've got my number. This is crazy.
What can I say? I'm a fan.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, my thought was imagine I'm sure this actually does exist in real life, but there's nothing that I'm particularly thinking of. Imagine it's just like one of those art books
Okay.
of just MC Escher paintings.
Ooh.
And that's my book because, you know, when you look at them, they're kind of weird and off-putting. So I was like, yeah, that'll be mine. I feel like that's pretty representative. But then I was like, that's a stupid fucking answer. That's like, I don't want to be self-deprecating like that. That's dumb.
That's some Kevin Keen shit.
That's some Kevin Keaton shit.
Yeah.
And also I feel like it's like low-key pretentious. Like I'm not even like an art history nerd or anything.
And so that's not
like,
your answer.
That's
No.
not me.
That's not it.
That's not me.
Uh-huh.
It's like my actual answer is probably just like the Dungeon Master's Handbook.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
Which like I don't want to be like, oh, my entire personality is D&D, because it's like not.
But a lot of it.
But I feel like it's pretty representative of a lot of the things that.
I think even
Yeah.
if you chose that, it doesn't necessarily mean that like 90% of the time you're playing D&D. It could just be that a lot of what you enjoy stems from D&D, I feel like.
Yeah.
And gives the vibe of D&D. Like
Right.
I think D&D to anyone that doesn't play it seems very like two-dimensional, and like you play it and you're stuck in this box and that's basically what you do. But there's a lot of shit that has like stemmed from, if you like D&D, you can absolutely find yourself one day enjoying, I don't know where the thought was going.
Yeah.
I'm just
like improv.
improv
for one.
improv.
That's one of them.
And that's like a kind of very detached. That's not a part of real D&D, and that's kind of very detached from it.
Of course.
Of course.
Not of course.
We can start talking about D&D now if you wanted.
If you want.
That'd be great. You know what? Okay, so your coffee table book,
My coffee table book
the Dungeon Master's Handbook.
is the Dungeon Master's Handbook.
And I love that. That's maybe the biggest book we have so far, because it's a big one. If you have it physically,
Yeah.
It's a pretty big book,
It's
or at least
kind
at least
thin.
it's wide.
I don't know what the other books are in terms of
The ones
width and
the ones
diameter.
on the ones on the stack.
Right.
Well, I mean, the ones that you've heard so far, I don't know what the width and diameter are either, but they seem like regular books, like regular size books.
So are you saying I have the longest length?
Is it height?
Like my book is like the longest book.
Your book might be the longest book.
It's like probably like the biggest book. It's like much bigger and cooler, and everyone's like, "Oh, I wish my book was as big as hers."
I can't remember now, but Andrew Mister also might have one that maybe rivals yours. Maybe isn't best or like better, but I can't remember at the moment. So Andrew Mister might be the only one that has it. I'll tell you who definitely doesn't is Frank, who has like a paper.
Oh, papers are low key long.
Well, they're
is
long.
it like a sheet?
Well, so when we say long, though, are we talking about the length, or are we talking about like the physical object that encases the material? Because a Dungeon Master's Handbook, I feel like, while not as many pages as like, I don't know, Goblet of Fire, definitely is like takes up more real estate on a table.
This is fair.
I think that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I mean, I'm okay with
in terms of word length, you probably don't have the longest book, but you might have the longest book in terms of real estate.
Like, I think it's at least, we can say, definitely like above average.
It's above average for
like
sure.
way above average.
This is one of those. I mean, I work in a library, and we have Dungeon Master's Handbooks in the I don't know what section it is, I forget, but we have those, and those have to go on like special shelves. They don't go on the regular shelves where all the normal size books go.
I get a special shelf, is what I'm hearing.
You get a special shelf, and it's not actually, yeah, it was a stack, and now Giana gets a fun little shelf right next to the It's not even on the coffee table anymore.
It's just separate
because
from
of
the
because of how derivative and long this conversation about your coffee table book was.
Of course.
And somewhere like in the back corner is an MC Escher book with art. We're gonna include that, but in the lore of it, it's not on the table.
It's like slightly transparent.
It's a little transparent. It's like
it's Schrodinger's MC Escher art book.
if you're observing it, it's there. I don't know how Schrodinger's.
Maybe it's there. Maybe it's not.
Maybe it's not.
We'll see.
Well, that was that portion of the show.
That was that portion of the show. Have you ever answered that question?
I have an answer to that question. Yeah. I always forget. Improv Nation. How we made a great American art, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
And it's about improv, and then I haven't read it, and those are like the two things about me. But I think it'd be fun if I actually did read it one day, because it's about improv and the history of it. I do have a book. I think the first time I asked this question, I don't know if Owen and I walked ourselves into it, or if I made it up on the spot. I know it was made up. I didn't have it prepared. And so this almost wasn't a part of the show, but I forget exactly how we got ourselves to talking about it. And then I decided then and there that my book is Improv Nation. So yeah, I think so. I should read it one day though. I should grow up and read a book.
That would make you retroactively a liar on this podcast.
It would, or it would make me a changed person.
Wow.
Who knows?
Glass half full, glass half empty.
Depends on who you are.
Beat.
Why is it always at the midpoint? The glass is not. I mean, I get why, but
yeah, there's really no other way.
We never talk about the glass being like at 75%, where it's like pretty obvious that it's more than full or more than halfway empty.
I just feel like, if you switched it around a little, it doesn't have the same ring to it. If you're like, oh, are you a glass 75% full type person or 25% empty?
That could still be like, it's kind of the similar question where it's like, no matter how full the glass gets, you're always thinking about what's not there.
Whoa.
And that's kind of what kind of person are you? Or, flip it around. If the glass is like almost empty, are you still thinking about how there's basically nothing in there? Or is like, don't worry, there's still a little bit of water.
That's actually such a good point.
I think
Why don't we talk about the different levels of glass?
I think it's because it's just easy, but because I think either question, you're still the same kind of person. If you're a half glass empty, if you're a glass half empty kind of person, you're probably also a glass 25% empty kind of person. I guess this is a degree to which you start being pessimistic.
That's a better question.
How full does the glass get
percent?
Until you're like, okay, it's full, or until you're like, okay, it's not empty in some ways. Because also, I feel like people don't fill their glasses up all the way. What kind of psychopath tries to get it to bubble at the?
Oh, I know people.
Giana,
you know who you are.
you know who you are exactly.
You know who you are.
Giana, this is a show about my friends, the comedians, and their comedy journeys. Now, while I did mention that for the short time that I was in college with you, I performed improv comedy with you. But if that's not where your comedy journey starts, whether it's your relationship with comedy, your interest in comedy, I know that might have been, I'm not entirely sure, but was that the first time with Ridiculum that you had like performed improv?
No.
No.
Well, performed, yes, but
Not the first time you've done it.
not the first time I did improv.
Well, then wherever it starts, even if it is before then, I'd like you to take us through, and I'll interject whenever I feel is necessary or whenever you feel is necessary. You seem to have the control on this episode. But wherever your comedy journey starts, even if it is like I watched a funny movie and that's when I was hooked, or that's when I was like sort of interested, where does it start for you? Where do you think it starts for you?
Oh gosh. Okay. I guess there's a couple ways I could talk about like where this started, because like I feel like my comedy journey is kind of separate from like the journey of things that led me to improv specifically.
Okay.
Like, okay, I guess comedy, where did my comedy journey start? Probably the same as everyone else's, like as a, defense mechanism, as a way to, I was not personally bullied ever. It just is one of those things where I feel like
it's a fear.
Well,
was it a, yeah?
It's like a, maybe I would describe it as a human response. What the hell am I talking about? I like make jokes.
Yeah.
You ever make a joke?
I make
People
jokes.
make jokes sometimes.
And that's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah. The previous episode that I just had with JP, Dr. Spiro, who said you had heard of, he was like, isn't it crazy that when we tell jokes, we make people's bodies you kind of control people's bodies. You kind of make their bodies like kind of jump up and down or make like vocal noises. And even if they were intending on laughing, you made that happen.
That's so weird to
in
think
some backwards way. So you were making people laugh.
That is interesting. I feel like there is like a weird element of this is weird. I feel like we're getting a little psychological about this. But like there is like an element of kind of maybe not control is what I'm trying to describe, but like it's like that feeling when you tell a joke and then people laugh at it and you're like, "Oh." You get like that like
rush?
a rush. You get like the sense of what word am I looking for?
It's a little addictive.
Like it's like acceptance.
Acceptance, yeah.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Comedy and jokes is kind of what made you feel a little comfortable like in the social setting.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I've always been like kind of a shy, socially awkward person in my opinion, and I feel like jokes were kind of my way of feeling validation from other people, which I don't think is like a particularly unique thing.
Yeah, I mean,
like I think everyone who ever tells a joke gets that same feeling. But yeah,
you were growing up with this kind of, I mean, as you described, a lot of people might. Do you have like a particular memory of when your joke telling or any kind of comedy in your personality started to feel a little performative, and not in a negative way?
Whoa.
Not in a negative way of like, oh, you were putting on a show or whatever, where like it was enough people or a particular joke and you were like, oh man, like this was a myriad of laughters and not just like my family or like a friend of mine. Do you have any of that kind of remembrance, or does that not really tap into you until you start actually performing?
No, I mean, like, I can talk about, and oh my God, I think that is like such an interesting thing to talk about, like the idea of performance and like, I don't know, I think there's a weird element of like, am I just telling a joke and being myself right now in this conversation, or am I performing for this conversation in like so many social environments?
It starts to get pretty muddled.
It gets so weird.
Yeah.
But like, that's a whole nother egg.
We'll crack that egg when we
That's another egg to crack.
We'll crack that egg when we make that omelet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it's interesting. I think maybe one thing that's kind of a bit representative of the concepts that I've been trying to describe that I'm kind of having a hard time putting my finger on is just like, I remember in high school, I don't know if I loved it every single time that I had to do a presentation, but there were many presentations that I was quite excited to do. Like,
Really?
yeah, like in class, like you'd get assigned like, oh, do this PowerPoint presentation. Like, I think I had to do one on like some kind of disease once.
You said that, I went really, and then I thought back and I was like, actually, I relate to this. I remember the first time that I did like a PowerPoint presentation in 4th grade. It was on the 4 states of matter, which I was an absolute nerd about. I'm actually surprised I didn't go into like a science field because I was super like addicted to the idea of like everything's a state of matter. And then I learned there were more than 4, and I was like, whoa.
I didn't even know that.
There's really like 4 main ones, and then there's like, oh, it's like a solid liquid 2nd degree. I don't know. Like, it's a weird like thing. But I remember doing that presentation and being like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool. And no one cared. No one cared. Do you have a particular presentation you remember? Or this disease that you were describing?
Well, yeah, there's one that I remember, and I don't know, there's a couple where this happened, but I just feel like it was kind of not unusual for me to do a presentation. And I'd sat through presentations before, and I know what it's like to sit through a presentation.
Yeah.
So most of the time, it's like you don't want to be there, the people presenting don't want to be there, and it's uncomfortable for many people involved.
Absolutely.
So, like, I hated the feeling of being in the seat so much and feeling like that secondhand, like, I feel you're embarrassed, I'm embarrassed, like, sort of feedback loop. That, like, I feel like whenever I did a presentation, I really desperately needed it to not feel that way for people.
Wow. Very interesting. So it was less of a fear of being in front of people and more of, I understand what this is like. Let's get you through it.
It was like it was a lot combined. It was definitely like, I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable and like have a hard time sitting through this. It was also like, I don't want them to think that I'm uncomfortable because then they're going to have like negative opinions about me, and I can't have that.
That sounds like anxiety or something. I don't know.
Well,
some form of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr.
It's kind of psychoanalyzing.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't ever feel that.
I guess I'm diagnosed now.
You're diagnosed now.
Wow.
Now
you.
you're diagnosed.
Now.
I've given you the permission.
Given me the permission to be diagnosed.
To be diagnosed.
Thank you, Jacob Marscola.
Anyway, now that I've psychoanalyzed your whole thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I always just felt like I wanted to like put in like a little extra effort to make sure that obviously I'm like doing the rubric, I'm doing the assignment, but also that it's kind of entertaining. And that was just something that I did. And I remember like the feeling of getting up and doing a presentation and like writing jokes into my presentation and people laughing at them. And that's like such a good feeling.
Your first performative, you did PowerPoint comedy.
PowerPoint comedy,
like a little bit.
I guess.
I guess you wrote jokes into a PowerPoint presentation.
I wrote jokes into a PowerPoint presentation.
That's really fun.
That's just like, so that's just talking about like the like my personality side of it. Like, and this was like one of those things where like my classmates in high school, like again, I was like not a very outgoing or talkative person. So like when I would get up and do that, that was like my chance to be like, I don't know, hey, I'm not just like a awkward and quiet kid. Like, I also have jokes.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. It was like a kind of a form of, again, I guess just like needing to be liked by my peers.
Yeah, I mean, that's where a lot of that stems from. But I think that's a very interesting and considerate way of tackling that, of being like, you know what, I understand the discomfort of a presentation, so let's at least make this enjoyable for some people. And I like that a lot. That's a fun perspective that I've never really heard, because presentations, except for the one that I described, like slowly, they were a little scary to me, depending on what class, especially when it started to be like, I'm not, you know, because in like 4th grade, I'm in the same classroom with the same people the whole time. This is homeroom is the whole thing.
Right.
But when I started having like multiple classes, I was like, oh, I don't know who I'm going to be in front of for this one. Or like it's a different mix of people, and I have to start analyzing how I'm going to be around all these different groups of people. And so definitely, I think presentations bring some form of stress to people. But that's a very fun way of tackling the stress or the discomfort that the audience can feel, which I'm going to say now, and I'm not just like playing off your answer. It makes a lot of sense for you as a performer. It makes a ton of sense.
Okay.
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay, wait, not to be like ask you how I'm perceived, but what do you mean by that?
Well, no, I just mean like, well, one, I'd say, I mean, this is true of a lot of people in Ridiculum. This isn't, not all of this is very specific to Giana, but like, you loved putting on a show. You loved, like, I think every scene you were in, not to say that like every character you were was so incredibly big all the time, but it in some way didn't only focus on serving the scene. It did also focus on serving the comedy for the audience. I think sometimes, myself, I can think about this a lot. I'll be in a scene, and you don't always have to be the funny person in the scene, but I will find myself being in a scene, and I'm like, I'm not doing any jokes because I'm only focusing on how, like, technical this scene is, which isn't always fun for the audience. In fact, almost none of them care. The only people that might even care about that are the people on stage doing improv. And so for that, and then also like, I don't know, I feel like there were times, I have a specific like feeling about Giana as a performer, a little more than other people that have been Ridiculum, just because some of us mesh in the same kind of group. But as you've described, especially when we were talking about your coffee table book, a lot of different things I think make up you as a performer. One of the big ones being playing off of reactions, or playing off of what I truly do think if you would have enjoyed it, this isn't me telling you to go do it, but I think you probably would have been good at stand-up comedy. If you found the comfort and the want to do that, just because of you as a performer, it's harder to find it or see it translate on stage as an improviser when you're in a scene. But you play characters that you can tell the audience will enjoy, or if you find a certain part of it that the audience enjoys, you latch onto that and stick with it, which I think is maybe either frowned upon or just ignored in the kind of community or area of improvisational performance. But that's what you do. It's for the audience. You're doing this for the people, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't know if that sounded like anything, or if it made any sense to you, or if any of it didn't track and I'm wrong, tell me.
No, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense to me. It's like kind of scary how observant you are about certain improv comedy
I mean,
things.
specifically with having this kind of show too, and knowing my friends and knowing how they are as comedians, I think a lot about the circles and the groups that people are in on what kind of performer they are. Like, who is one of the questions I've written down, I'll just go ahead and reveal it because I couldn't think of any better way to say it, is when did you realize you were a master fucking genius at characters and voices? How the fuck dare you?
Okay, that's wild, because I think that's still one thing. I've gotten that comment a few times. I think it's just been from you. Because just because you're the only one who like really talks improv like that.
I like to talk about it, yeah.
But I'm like shocked every time I hear that, because like that's just not something that I particularly have, I guess, noticed in my own.
Would you say that you don't necessarily try to or are conscious of it when you
Definitely
perform?
not.
So that is where some of the best character work comes from, I think, is when someone's natural at it, and also when someone is not preparing themselves. Not that anything's wrong with that. I think I've gone onto a scene and been like, okay, I am going to be like, I've heard the prompt and I feel like this kind of old Southern guy is what's needed, and then I do it. I don't know what your mind does before a scene, but I don't imagine I don't imagine you go into a show like, I'm gonna do a Southern person, I'm gonna do an old man, I'm gonna do like a Valley Girl type, which you've done all kinds of different kinds of characters in the same show, and that's why it's also very noticeable. But I think it makes a lot of sense that you're like, I don't think about it too much, because that's where I think the best character work comes from. Great character work also comes from people that are like, I'm gonna be characters tonight, and that also works. But you'll never find it, I feel like, as natural or amazing than someone who's like, oh, yeah, I just kind of go up there and I don't really think about it, which is the best way to do it, I think.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you say that, because you mentioned, the idea of, like, doing a character. Earlier you said something about doing a character and, like, not focusing as much on, like, the technical aspects of a scene. Which I think is really interesting, because I almost feel like I do struggle sometimes if I'm like just having to do a scene. Like if I'm doing a scene without a silly little voice, I feel like I sometimes have a harder time with that.
It can be very difficult. That's like a way that it is, and I've again, I've not read the improv book yet, but I've read or I've listened to podcasts, and like actual professionals at this improv shit have said that is a way that certain performers with certain types of brains, not even just like if you are a certain type of personality or your brain works in a way where like you got to latch on to some sort of a character, and it's not a crutch. As long as you can do it in a way that serves the scene and you're not just always the squeaky little guy, which you aren't always the squeaky little guy. Sometimes you're like, I think you very much, you and then also Kalechi. I didn't get to talk about this with Kalechi too much, but you guys vary and fluctuate in status and power in your scenes. You've played very like subservient henchman little characters, and then you'll play like a really powerful Southern prospector or something. I don't know, like, and Kalechi has been the same way. And I don't know how I don't know how that works. I couldn't tell you because I wouldn't attribute that particular kind of performance to my like best skill set. I think I do characters and I enjoy doing characters, but I think I can do a scene. I think oftentimes I'd do more in a scene just I'm talking as myself. But it's interesting to hear that you're the exact opposite. Latching on to some sort of a character or a voice is how you ground yourself in a scene that is happening on stage.
Yeah, I don't know. I at least for me, it just feels like sometimes, and I do think that it is. I think I use it sometimes personally as a sort of a crutch because it's like if I go out and I don't really have like the most clever joke or clever thing to do immediately, I'll just like, I don't know, start talking like in a Southern accent or like talking like some sort of like wizard voice, you know?
And like if you do that too, you know, like my scene partners are going to make this work. Or if they don't, like and it's you and it's other people, good improvisers, good performers, even if they make that choice and they call it a crutch and they feel like they're leaning into it a lot, you'll find a way to make it make sense. You're not going to go through the whole scene like, unless it works and it's funny to be like, and also I'm here in this high school classroom taking this test with you. And that's funny too. Like I think it always has worked and it's never felt like, oh God, Giana's coming in as an old man. This is like the 5th time because it's different. It is, there's different, you have certain areas of like, Giana first position, but there are other, you hit a lot of different, stuff, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm like very much, and I know this probably doesn't make for good podcast material.
Go for it.
Very much not aware of what's happening whenever I'm doing improv, which
black out too.
is interesting because you said that thing about like playing off of the audience. I feel like, I don't know, a lot of the time I don't really have very strong direction for a scene. I don't think I'm a super strong improviser because
the best don't.
I think a lot of the times I'll like not really know where something's going, or I'll be kind of nervous and I'm like not the fastest to jump into something. But I don't know. I feel like what really helps for me is like getting the feedback from the audience and like knowing what is going to hit, because I don't know, sometimes you can get into a groove and you just know that like, oh, if I say like this one thing, the audience is gonna love it.
Yeah,
like,
and no, just even knowing that, I know you're like, oh, I black out during performances. You still might do stuff that serves the audience. I think it's something that I do know or had thought about you as a performer, and then hearing you talk about like school presentations, and you're like considerate of like, I understand how this can be for this audience. Let's put on a show. Let's at least make it somewhat enjoyable. It just made sense in my mind.
Yeah.
Also, I forgot that's what we were talking about.
We were talking about that.
We were there. Yeah. And then I went on like a 10-minute tangent on
it's okay.
You as a performer.
It happens. So unfortunate that I had to hear
unfortunate you had to hear
people
all this
talk about
praise.
Myself for so long.
I think it makes a lot of sense, especially knowing you for at least the amount of time that I have. I think it makes sense that you're not like hyper aware of that, because it's just like it's a natural thing.
Yeah, my brain is blank at any given moment.
You don't ever think, honestly.
I don't think at all.
That describes the first 20 minutes of the show very accurately then.
Yeah.
How does it feel to get roasted on my show?
I was taking it as a compliment, but okay, Jacob, I see how it is.
So let's get back to the journey.
The journey.
The journey.
The journey.
We can at least go or get back to wherever you feel like, but giving a good example of like talking about what it was like performing. Tell me about your first experience with improv in general, even if it was just doing it for fun, doing it at like a camp or whatever.
Okay, yeah, it was in fact at a camp.
That's awesome. That sounds so fun.
Important context for my development and who I am as a person in general is that I don't know how to describe it other than I think growing up I was definitely a wannabe theater kid.
Theater kid.
So I never actually did the high school musical, like the musical in high school. But I was always really into I never did musicals because I didn't want to be singing. That wasn't like interesting to me.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah. But I loved performance like my whole life. I remember in my elementary school, it was like a big thing because you got to pick when club time came around. There was one specific time of year when they would do after school clubs.
Yeah.
And when club time came around, you would get to pick one club that you wanted to do, and you had to like sign up for it, and it was like a first come first served thing.
Interesting.
Which is a weird way to do
That's
it.
That's a really weird way to do that.
It was
especially
like,
if you're trying to get students involved with a lot of
I think
stuff.
it was more like an after school program as opposed to like a club, and it was also like we were elementary school / middle school kids.
Oh yeah, I guess
so
yeah.
I think that's why they did it that way. But the thing was, the biggest and the most popular club every single year was the drama club. And you were not allowed to join it until you were in middle school. And so it was like only open to like people who were in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade.
The older kids.
The older kids, of course. But it was like the big thing. It was the thing that everyone wanted to be a part of. I think maybe it was just the people who I associated with.
I don't know. I feel like if it's a big enough area for you, I guess that's just what people wanted to do. It could have been the big thing.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe my perspective is singular and I'm only thinking about myself right now.
You were in the corner with like the 15 people you thought populated your entire your title middle school, and everyone else is like, you guys want to go play sports and not be lame? Let's go.
Now let's just like recite lines. Let's play pretend.
Let's play pretend.
But like in an official way.
Sounds like so much more fun, and I don't have to get hit in the head with a ball.
Literally.
Like I played sports in high school, but I love making stuff up instead. That's so much better.
Making stuff up is a lot. It's very fun.
It's very fun. Yeah. There's no stakes.
Well, correct. No, you're right.
Until you make
You're
them.
right.
Until you make the stakes.
This is true. Like I think the point is to make stakes actually.
Yeah.
Like conflict is very important.
Yeah, actually improv doesn't need any kind of conflict. You just kind of make up you make up a football, and that's when you throw the football.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when the stakes happen.
So did you end up joining this, or you never got to?
I joined the drama club.
Oh.
In every single year I think I did drama club. And I loved it so much. I even when I was not doing drama club, like over the summer, I would do a couple like theater camps, and with like my sister and like with my friends, like we were all kind of pretty into it. So I was big into the theater stuff, and it was at one of those camps. I think I was like in 7th grade or something when I did my first ever improv game. We did it as like it was a theater camp. We did it as a warm-up game. It was Freeze.
It was Freeze?
It was Freeze. And I'd never done anything like that before. I'd never heard of improv before. But again, it was like one of those feelings that I kind of described earlier where like I just remember being in a scene and it feeling like one of the most natural things that I'd ever done. And it was like I knew that I could say something or turn the scene in a certain way that like people started to laugh, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best feeling in the world.
It's so good. I love hearing it when a guest that I have come on is like, I got into a scene and it felt so natural and real, and it was just like easy. I love that. I also love that it was Freeze, because Freeze is like, at least by Ridiculum, such a chaotic game, and very hard to feel like you're seeping into the scene because it doesn't last too long. But I love that.
Right. It's fun though, and it's really good for like getting multiple people involved.
It's incredibly easy, low stress. It's not a thing we do in shows, and that's especially why I think it's easy for first timers to join, because they're like, all right, this is a whatever game. This is like a do whatever, and and it is, yeah.
It's true.
So you got to do this Freeze in drama club. Do you remember do you have a particular performance in any of the 4 years that you joined, like a show, like the show, or did you guys did shows, right? This was like building up to a show.
We did. So the experience I'm talking about was like a summer camp that was unaffiliated with my middle school. But yeah, in drama club, we had shows every year, but they were just like normal plays
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. I think we did a couple songs occasionally, but that wasn't super important.
Yeah.
I remember one year we did like West Side Story, which we definitely shouldn't have been doing West Side Story given the demographics of
Yeah.
that school. But
I was about to ask, did you guys serve it well?
no, we didn't. We didn't. We also definitely chose like one of the worst songs we possibly could, like looking back.
Mm-hmm.
So not the best look for us. But anyways, that's not super
So
important.
Gianna got very problematic in West Side Story. And then
100%. I
and
don't even
then-
remember. I might not have been in that scene, just to clarify. It was all alleged.
Just to make sure Gianna might not have been a part of it, we're going to need some investigation first.
Exactly. But yeah, so that was like my last experience with theater for a while because I kind of stopped doing it in
Mhm.
high school because the only outlet was the musical,
Yeah.
which was not, again, I didn't want to sing. I just wanted to say lines. and stuff.
Horrifying. Yeah.
Truly
horrifying.
one of,
I think I've sang in front of some friends at this point in my life, but still the idea of a musical is a little scary
yeah.
because it's like it's not just karaoke.
Yeah.
You have to do a performance and then also manage to, and you sometimes you're dancing, and that seems really hard to do while singing perfectly.
Yeah. And like you said, singing is not bad. Karaoke is fun.
Yeah.
The problem is that when you're in a musical, they expect you to be good at it.
And a specific kind of good too.
Yes.
I can't sing the way that I do when I'm like belting Jonas Brothers. I have to be the character. I
Yes.
have to sing in a musical way, which I don't know how to do really.
And the musical tone is like so,
It's hard to hit.
it's very specific.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the people I know who actually did musical like did singing lessons, and I was
Mhm.
like, I'm just here for the love of the game, so I'm not about that.
game.
Yeah. But
Let's play some theater ball. Hell yeah.
So true.
I love theater ball.
Oh my god.
It's great.
Is theater ball when the people who played sports in high school start just throwing things at the people who did theater?
They're throwing the people who did theater.
That
they're
makes more
they're
sense.
throwing the theater
Yeah.
nerds. Yeah.
Unfortunate.
So from like middle school, and you said high school, it wasn't a thing that.
I didn't touch any theater in high school, which made me so sad.
That sucks.
It was upset. Well, okay, I didn't mean it like in a super serious way.
I was depressed, and it was bad, and it was only because of theater.
Yeah, no, like I wanted to. Like I had one of my friends and I. We tried to start up like a division of the, I don't know, like our drama thing, our theater program that
Mhm.
just did straight plays. So
Yeah.
like plays without the musical part.
No gay people
We-
in that one. That's the problematic part.
Well, that would have been problematic.
Just straight plays.
Exactly. Oh God. But yeah, unsurprisingly, we didn't really get many people biting
Mhm.
at that. So
So I'm curious. So I mean, when was the first time you perceived Ridiculum on this college campus?
okay,
You wanna
I'm
talk
really
about-
excited
you
to talk
excited to
about
talk about
this.
this one?
Yes, because this is I don't really quite remember the first time I perceived them ever, but what I do remember is that either the year or the semester before I joined officially, I think I went to like every single show
Wow.
that Ridiculum did.
And that was would that have been like
That would have been your freshman year.
year? Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
So yeah, again, it was like one of those things where I feel like I always tried to be kind of tuned in to the stuff that was happening on campus so that
Mhm.
my friends and I would like have stuff to do and like go to. And I don't know. I remember one day just like seeing that there was an improv show and I was like,
I've done that before.
college improv? Well, at this point I was like, college improv?
Yeah, you were like,
Because I feel like, bro,
there's such a persona and like a vibe around college
Yeah.
improvisers. Because you know what? Some of us can be weird.
It is. I still think it is an objectively weird thing
It's
to do
weird.
improv.
And
And
it's not
I
necessarily
mean that.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that in the best way.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think it's
Yeah.
like so fun.
It's so fun and weird. Yeah, I mean, I hope improv never seems normal.
Oh, 100%.
I think that would be the death of improv, is the day that it seems like run-of-the-mill, normal.
I mean, like the thing that makes improv so funny is the fact that you're like making these ridiculous situations happen
Yeah.
on stage in front
Mhm.
of people and you're making it sound like they're just normal.
Yeah. You have to justify it or make it seem like it's a normal thing.
That's the world that the scene exists in.
And I also, what I love and hope that it never feels normal or like, I hope it always feels spontaneous, because every time you go to a show, you're the only audience that's going to get to see what happens there.
Yeah.
Because it's never going to happen again.
And that's like, I think that makes it like so special. And also the fact that it's not rehearsed. It's like, how do they come up with this?
No.
That, like, I remember, because before I joined Ridiculum, I was first and foremost a fan. Like, I was like the biggest Ridiculum fan ever, which made it so weird when I actually joined the club. Can I just say?
Because you were like, oh my gosh,
I was like, oh my god, that's the beanie guy.
That's Pat.
That's literally Patrick Lyons. Genuinely, like, among my non-Ridiculum friend group, that was like a people. You guys were like,
it's
household names.
Thank you. It's more that I did get recognized one time after the first Civil War show as the guy who wears a beanie. Because I was wearing a beanie when I got recognized, and it
was very characteristic.
It was incredibly characteristic for like a year and a half. No, but I think the idea of campus celebrities exists in general, and so that already is a thing. Even if it's like, oh, I see that guy walk past me all the time, and I don't know his deal, but I'm curious. So that gets elevated if you perform on a stage like every 2 months or something. It
was just like, speaking from my experience with it, I just remember going to the shows. And the first Ridiculum improv show that I ever went to, I was like blown away. I was like, this is like the funniest shit I've ever seen. I don't know how they came up with this. Like, they are like so, I don't know. I was just like, oh my god, all these people are so funny.
That's awesome to hear. Do you happen to remember what show it was? Were we all wearing cowgirl shirts?
It was not the cowgirl show.
Not cowgirl. Okay.
It might have been. Do you remember what the show after that was?
After that might have been Justin's first show. Which was, that would have been the next semester. That was the show after that.
That was probably then. I remember a couple of the shows I went to. Like, I don't remember what the first one was called, but it's on YouTube, I'm pretty sure.
That might have been the cat show then.
Cat show.
We're all wearing blue.
I went to that show. I'm pretty sure. I went to the B+ show.
Yeah, the Nova Dance show,
the
which
Nova
isn't
Dance
on
show.
YouTube.
That is not on YouTube.
No.
But that was one of the pretty iconic ones that I remember. I went to the long form show.
The one before Cowgirl show? Or was there another long form show?
There was a long form show that happened in the Mullen Center.
Yes, it was the
there was like a volleyball game.
It was like the returners, sort of a senior send off, but not everyone was a senior. Yeah, the volleyball game one. Yeah,
that was truly magical.
I loved that one. That was a great one. That was super fun.
I adored that, and it's like, I feel like every single show I went to that semester, there were scenes that really stuck out to me. And I just, I don't know. I loved watching.
That's great to hear, especially, I mean, I know you joined us at some point, but it's good to hear from an ex-audience member. I guess now an audience member. You've become an audience member once again, but
full circle.
But annually you're a performer. You're always in Ridiculum, but you're at the
so
moment a retired cop.
Whoa. Whoa. How dare you?
I said retired and cop came out of my mouth, and I was like, that just feels, I don't know.
I'm offended.
Giana's a retired cop.
I am not a retired cop. I'd like to set the record straight.
Giana is not retired.
Whoa.
She is still a cop.
Back it up. Back it up. Put your hands in the air.
Put your hands. See, look, it's coming out right now. She's still on the job.
Shit.
You have a wire, and you're like, I've been doing this show the whole time just to catch you. I've been waiting for you to confess. And that
can't confirm or deny.
Can't confirm or deny that. It's so great to hear though from a fan. That was so fun, especially because like on a college campus where the majority of the audience is your friends, who are like fans of you, but they're close enough with you where they're not really like fans, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
it's good to hear that something we do on stage was fun and not just like my friends showed up and they were like, oh, that was good. All right, let's go drink. Come on. Let's like it's fun to hear that for sure. When you joined the club, can you give me just kind of like, I don't know, like briefly just like explain, what it felt like to do that first practice or even to do that first performance? What was that like? Because that must have been bonkers for you.
It was like way stressful. Like I remember like when I'm sitting in the audience, I remember that I was like inspired and I was like, I think I can do this. This looks fun. I
Awesome.
think this is something
That's
that
like
I'd like
literally
to do.
why we do it, to get people to come
Yeah.
join.
Yeah. And it worked for me.
It worked.
And I feel like every time I performed, I was like, I hope that this gives someone else like the same feeling.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's so much more stressful. Like it is not easy. Like when you're actually having to perform and be in a practice or whatever. I don't know. It was stressful. My first show was stressful. I feel like every single time I did it, it was stressful, but it was one of those things where it's like going into it, I was very nervous, but once I got on stage, it kind of melted away because I was like, I'm just doing improv now and I'm just going to let it happen.
That's awesome.
That's not entirely true because I did, have that thing where it's like, oh my God, my game's coming up soon.
That does get nerve-wracking, definitely. I remember the first time that I did my first game, and I was like, shit. But the great thing is that it was a bus driver, it was a character-driven game, all I had to do, and then I decided that I was the boss of all women, and that was the first character I ever did on stage, and then I fucked up just so royally. Everyone laughed, but we all know how we felt, really, after Jacob Marscola said he was the girl boss.
Oh. It happens sometimes.
I got such a good prompt and took it. I feel like me right now, if I got girl boss, I'd be like, oh, absolutely. I'm going to be like, I don't know. I'm going to play like, just like a powerful, I don't know, woman or something, which I think at the time that I got that prompt, I was like, well, I'm a guy. I can only play a guy. There's no other thing I could do. I guess I'll just be the boss of all women. I guess that makes sense for me. I think about that all the time. I know people laugh, but I think it represents so much of a growth in the kind of performer that I am. Because I think if I got something like that now, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's do it face value. I'm gonna be a girl boss.
You're gonna be a girl boss.
An absolute girl boss.
And that is very feminist of you.
You know what? And I'm kind of brave for that.
You're so strong.
I'm so strong, and I'm so brave making that flip turn from. I used to be such a misogynist, and now I'm so good.
Yeah.
I'm doing so great.
We're all very proud.
Yeah,
of your development.
and you know what? I think it's brave for me to attempt to talk about my performance while it's your episode. Just kind of take the spotlight for a second.
It's okay. I mean, we've already established that I'm the one interviewing you.
You do have control at this point.
I have full control of the podcast.
And you know what? I don't know. You could be holding on to the real coffee table book right now, and you told me 2 fake ones, and who knows? That's probably not it. But we will never know.
We're never gonna know.
We actually could know soon. We're getting close to the end of our time. I wanted to talk more about your time with Ridiculum, but I guess do you have any particular show that you remember, or that you're like, this was my show, or this was a fun show, or your last show, if you have any feelings about that?
Well,
any of those. Take any of those as bait.
I mean,
not as bait. I'm not trying to catch you saying anything. I know why I said bait.
It's okay. I'll deal with it.
Can you tell I'm nervous too? It's my show.
Don't worry, Jacob.
I'm always terrified of my performance on my show.
Oh, don't be.
Okay.
You shouldn't be.
Okay. Anyway, do you have a favorite memory?
Moving on. So I feel like this is really unfortunate. I feel like one of the shows that I felt best about is one of the ones that I afterwards told my parents, hey, I had a really great show. I can't wait for you guys to see it uploaded to YouTube. And then it never got uploaded to YouTube.
What show?
That's the show where, so I have this character that I did once. And his name was Johnny Hot Dog.
Johnny fucking Hot Dog.
And he was... The funny thing about Johnny Hot Dog is I personally don't even think he was my strongest work in that show. But it for some reason the audience went so crazy about Johnny Hot Dog.
Was this our pajama show, like the late night show? Is that what this was? Because that one didn't get recorded. Or no, that one did get recorded. I actually can't remember.
I think it was the pajama show. This one did get recorded, but it just somehow the recording I think has been lost forever.
Oh, well, that sucks.
But yeah, I mean, that show is the show where I did Johnny Hot Dog, and I don't think I realized it at the time, but then afterwards everyone started coming up to me. I have not known a moment of peace since then.
Everyone's talked about
everyone calls me Johnny Hot Dog.
Has any
it's
of it
kind
been
of wild.
Has any of it been amended or somewhat laid to rest since Noel reprised the character?
That was beautiful.
Just took your character, was like, this is his origin story.
That was so funny getting to see that
In our senior backtrack show that we did this year, myself, Noel, Nate, Owen, and Justin, Noel took the character. The prompt we got was porn. And then Noel, in some backwards way, was Johnny. He didn't initially start like I'm Johnny Hot Dog, but I think that we walked ourselves into like, yeah, this porn actor is Johnny Hot Dog.
I actually believe Owen is the one who gave it to him.
Owen was like,
if I'm not mistaken, I think Owen threw out Johnny Hot Dog, made Noel Johnny Hot Dog at some point.
Yeah.
I was like blushing in the audience. I was like, oh my God, they still remember Johnny Hot Dog.
I think it makes a lot of sense that, you play sort of this old, because you played it on like a dating show or something.
Yeah.
Right? And you were like this old sort of retired Johnny Hot Dog that was just kind of throwing out like flirtatious jabs. But then Noel plays the
womanizer of
most
womanizer.
of the, yeah, but Noel plays the like young, hot, active porn actor Johnny Hot Dog.
Exactly.
Which is amazing to me.
It's wild to see the full gamut of Johnny Hot Dog.
Absolutely.
In action.
I love it's such an iconic thing, and it became part of your senior gift. We gave you a hot dog hat.
You did. It's a very cherished bucket hat.
It's one of my favorite. I love it so much. That year I was a big fan of our selections that year for senior gifts because we got really specific. We gave Julia a book of accents. Georgia, who was infamous as one of our dead bodies for eulogy, we gave her a gravestone. I was a big fan of the Johnny Hot Dog hat.
You guys really hit the mark on each of those gifts.
It was great.
They were truly so representative.
It was such a fun, specifically your senior year, which was my first year really feeling like I was in sort of a leadership position of the club. It was very fun having you there because I think seniors are as much of leaders of the club as if you're on exec. I think exec means little to nothing. You got to really show up, and that's when it means something. And you showed up in a very exemplary way anytime. It wasn't, if I remember correctly, not a ton of notes in the room, but you were very much like, do you see what Giana just did? That's what we got to do. Or like that's what you do. Or like referencing it a lot. I can't think of a lot of times where I would be like apprehensive to like reference a thing that you did. Or if like, the classic, a game goes, we do like a My Friend Charlie with a group of 3. We're like, okay, these are some of the notes. The next My Friend Charlie comes up. You're in it in some way. And it's like, that's what we meant. Giana took the note that you guys got and was like, this is what you need to do. I think it's especially comforting, and I love it, especially because you were pretty, like I've mentioned already on the show, you were pretty natural and chill when it came to doing stuff, and it was nice to have in the room because I was incredibly high maintenance as a vice president. I was so fucking, and then Julia was my foil. It's like kind of in the same vibe as you. It was such an interesting dynamic, but it was balance, absolutely.
It was. I think we needed that balance. I don't know what we would have done without both vibes.
Absolutely. I think both vibes will always exist in Ridiculum. I don't know who's going to take it on, but someone is going to get it after I'm gone.
The torch will be passed.
Giana, I think we're about out of time.
What?
Which sucks.
What are you talking about?
One thing that we didn't really talk about, which I guess I'm just gonna, because I don't fucking care. I can't wait to play D&D with you and 6 other people.
It's gonna be quite exciting.
I didn't mean to, but I'm gonna be DMing 7 people.
Jesus Christ.
Which I'm excited about.
I feel like you did mean to. I feel like you did invite.
Here's what happened:
people.
is I invited 6, and then one other person was like, "I think it'd be cool," and I was like, "Well, we must have this person."
Okay.
Don't worry, you were like one of the first people I contacted. I was like, I need to do D&D.
I appreciate that.
Because we almost did that one time with Carm, and then we didn't really.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it kind of fell
through.
through.
The one session.
Yeah. But I'm incredibly excited, especially because you as a performer, and I think the stuff that we're going to be getting into is like, Giana's going to take this and run with it. I think it's just going to be very fun. The intensity, I'm excited. I know that's not for you, audience, but before I stop the show, I just wanted to talk to Giana about how excited I am.
It's going to be great, and none of you are going to get
None
to
of you
witness
will
it
experience it.
except for us.
I'm going to maybe mention it the next time I talk to Giana on the show, and that'll be all you get from us.
That's it.
Yeah. Do you have anything else that you'd like to just briefly mention or talk about? Anything? I could talk for another hour, I promise you.
I
but
could. I feel like there's like so much stuff that
There's a lot that we
I
didn't
would
hit.
still love to hit on.
Yeah,
but,
and the producers really hammering me with this like hour and 15 limit.
He's real tough.
Real tough.
He's real tough on you.
No, there's absolutely a world in which there's another season of this show, and I bring returning guests, and I'd love to talk to you. We didn't touch on VTV, and you have so much of a connection with VTV and the way that comedy comes through in that way, and I would absolutely talk with you again about that. So, until then,
thank
you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Jacob Marscola.
I forgot, it's your show.
Thank you, everyone, for
Would you like to read my spiel?
Oh my God. Would you allow me to read the spiel?
I think so. You're gonna have to when it says outro there, those 3 notes.
I mean, you mean read my spiel.
Read your spiel.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to thank Andrew Mister for the use of this podcast's theme song, Cruisin'. Thank you to our guest for joining me on the show. My name is Jacob Marscola, reminding you to laugh, especially when it's funny.
All around, memorizing the highways in our hometown, and we're cruising, and we're losing track of time.